Lent, I followed a prayer reflection called Working from Rest, because that's something we all need to do. The first day's reading was from Matthew, where Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." So Jesus offers us rest as a gift. He said, "I will give you rest." To receive this gift, we're invited to come to him. Come with our weary bodies, our worried minds, and our spent emotions. This gift of rest is for those who are weary and burdened, those who most need it. But I suggest it's also for those like me who are most resistant to it. Those who say, "I don't have time to rest. I can't rest with all that needs doing," or "If I rested, I would just worry." But Jesus isn't unrealistic about our situations. His invitation is to come as we are, with all our stresses and strains, burdens, worries and to-do lists, because we all need rest. But we're not always good at resting. I know I'm not, but I'm working at it. Now, God said in his 10 commandments to Israel after rescuing them from slavery in Egypt, "Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labour and do all your work, but the 7th day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, for in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, but he rested on the 7th day." That got me thinking about the creation story. God made the world in 6 days and rested on the 7th, but he made man, Adam, on the 6th day. So in the creation account, the 7th day is actually man's first day. So Adam began his life immediately in rest. Unlike God, he'd not laboured for 6 days, yet he was given rest, utterly undeserved. We can see that God's work preceded man's. God's giving rest preceded his entrustment of work. So human history, therefore, springs from the freedom to rest. Adam's first day was one of celebrating creation with God. Only then did he begin work. Just picture what that first rest day was like. God with Adam and Eve just hanging together, looking at and chatting about all the wonderful things that they saw. If we take this perspective on life's work and rest rhythms, it alters the emphasis. We work from rest. We don't rest after we've done our work. And true rest is only found in God's presence. Now, God, our Creator, built into our design that we'd become weary and weak. He'd fashioned us to need energy renewal, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and to come to him for that renewal. We may expect ourselves to keep going, but God doesn't. He expects us to come to him, the one who gives strength through rest, just as Jesus told us. However, we need to build recovery routines into every day, not just once a week. The Sabbath principles still apply. We stop, become still. We know that the Lord is God, and we remember he's our strength and refuge, and we thank him. This can take a few seconds, minutes, or even hours. One way to think of this is as punctuation, the spaces between words, sentences, and paragraphs. Remove this punctuation and the text no longer makes sense. So it is with our lives. We need to start the day from rest, not just from sleep, but from the rest that we find in the Father's embrace. This means spending a little time with him in the morning to set the scene for the day. Pausing like you are now before rushing headlong into the day's tasks, reading a verse or more scripture, meditating on it and praying about it. Then use those short spaces in the day to turn your minds and thoughts back to God. If we look, our days are full of short spaces, such as waiting for a kettle to boil, a Zoom meeting to start, a traffic light to turn green, a phone to be answered, or to get to the head of a queue. We can use these short spaces of time to develop spiritual rest and recovery routines. Perhaps it's saying a word of thanks to God for some encouragement received, praying blessing on a person we're about to speak to, affirming that it's God, not us, who's in control of our lives, or asking his help for something we need to do. These short rests also provide a greater opportunity to listen, like the lines separating paragraphs that signal the introduction of a new idea. These rests can be used by God for adjustments in our priorities and providing wisdom to those who ask. Change is now the new normal, and plans are often altered at the last minute. In this context, we need to be ready to respond to God's suddenly. Wisdom and discernment are vital. For that, we need to be alert, not tired and weary. So we need to take a short break and rest in Him before tackling the next task. We find rest in the embrace of the Father, who is full of love and compassion. It's deeply healing. But to receive this embrace is a choice to stop running, to take a little time and rest in Him. A choice to rest and allow His strength to hold us and strengthen us for all that we're called to do until the next rest stop. So let's come to Jesus continually, rest in His presence today and every day, and be refreshed, restored and renewed and able to work fruitfully each day. So just take a few moments now to thank God for His gift of rest and ask for His help to enable you to bring a series of rest breaks into your daily routine.